on a live basis. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, what do we do? What do we do? Because we just have
what do we do? In my view, yes, for a few minutes. I think, like I said, you see, we need. It's difficult to say. I mean, when I say philosophical this and that, I mean it tends to befuddle the problem or the solution. But I think that we need deeper people. The deep calls to the deep. We need people who know really what the problems are, not knee-jerk reactions. We don't want people who just wake up in the middle of nowhere. And indeed, I think what we can also do is this book. You can search for it. It's called Crushed. You know, it's
we'll
make it very quickly. It's not that, you know, it's just an acronym for the things that I think we should do to get out of where we are. C stands for we should go after anti-corruption. You know, we should do anti-corruption, which is good. Let's limit it as much, but we should also well, yes, EFCC style does work, you know, but I think that we should also reject the toga. We should just not sit down and allow someone to just talk down on us and say, you guys are corrupt. Oh, sorry, sir, we're sorry, we're corrupt. No, it doesn't work that way, you know. Now, that's the C stands for anti-corruption, stands for let's look at the Chinese model. But if not for anything, let's take that model on savings. If we could encourage the people to save, not to say, oh, go to the microfinance bank and borrow money to live just a better life. No, save money. Live within your means. Okay, that's very, 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 very critical, because in the West now they don't even have that.
And not live outside your means to impress people normally
you don't like, you know, exactly, to buy what you don't want.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
C stands for we need to tweak our culture, because the culture we got an overhang with our culture. Okay, that's very, very critical. You know, R stands for we need to be realistic in what we want, what we want to achieve. We need to be reasonable as to what we want to achieve. Nobody could say, oh, like you have just said now. I'm sorry to say, you know, is it Africa's time? No, let's not think about whose time it is. Let's think about moving from point A to point B. Let's not think about that time when the African man or the black man will come and rule the world. Well, we said that we're gallivanting, and the rest of them, not you. I'm not going about you.
Mr. Fashaw, hold on a second.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean that when I said it was.
I know that's not what
I meant was, is Africa coming to the forefront right now of global recognition with its resources?
Exactly. I get the point.
You know, that's what I'm saying, with its population.
Fantastic. I get you. I copy you absolutely, verbatim. But many people also think about the day that the black man is going to come and rule the world. We need to be self-effacing. It's a stoop to conquer world. If you don't stoop, you can't conquer. If you make yourself too, you know, people in the world of global politics, they bring it down. You know, that's the way it works. U stands for unity. Okay, of course, R also stands for being responsible, claiming responsibility for our actions and inactions. But we like to pass the buck too much, including we, the followers. It's not just that no leader is bionic and superhuman who will come and solve all the problems. U is for unity. We must without unity we are finished. S is for strategy. Do we have a roadmap? Do we have a strategy? Do we know where we want to get to? Who is thinking?
We have a strategy?
No, we don't. We're not talking about financial sector strategy. No. I mean, that's financial sector. Look, in fact, it itself is a misnomer, because with 150 million people to feed, you cannot go and anchor that on financial markets. And it's also another problem, and it also underlies what I said earlier about the misallocation of resources. Everybody wants to be a banker. Therefore, even at the national level, we're looking at the financial sector instead of the industrial sector. Where is the industrial sector vision? Exactly. So where's the industrial sector vision? Now, before I quickly go, H is for history. We need to go back to our history. If you don't know where you're coming from, you can't know where you're going. And our history has been written on our behalf by the victors. Therefore, we need to rewrite our history. Who are we? Okay, we need to understand. We don't even have our contemporary. I mentioned Nnamdi Azikiwe now. Most 20 years old in Nigeria don't care who Nnamdi Azikiwe is. I watch the TV stations, not AIT sometimes, and some have this section and they say, oh, 1905, this is the year that J. Edgar Hoover died or was born. I'm like, what's my business with J. Edgar Hoover? Are we saying that we don't have ancestors? Okay, we don't have leaders. Why are we studying Abraham Lincoln when we could have been studying Tafawa Balewa, Sardauna of Sokoto, Awolowo, and the rest of them? Okay, so you know, now H is for history, H is for hard work, H is for humility. We should be proud enough to defend our country and say, don't come and take us for granted, but we should be humble enough to stoop to conquer. E is for education. Our education now is not geared to make people, like I said before, we get engineers out of school and they go into the service sector. Education should be such that is tuned towards lifting our economy. And D is for democracy, but to ensure that the democracy does not kill us. Our democracy is presently too expensive and it should be made much cheaper.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Fashaw. I have to halt you at this point. I hope that one of these days before you travel again out of the shores, you'll come back. But let me read a few comments before I go. Okay, Jagada Jimo is saying, I totally agree with your guest. The money paid to footballers is too much. Why is everyone talking about the footballers? Okay, I agree with Tokba Fasho. Our leaders should face the real problems. Example, job creation. Umoru Sanuno is saying, I agree with the guest completely. Okay, please, I need your email for constructive debate. Our leaders are sycophants and not in tune with reality. Akinola Olushola is saying Africa, especially Nigeria, is not there until we get rid of this human disaster, corruption that we're experiencing in this part of the world. A lot of people are agreeing with you on the program today. Even if you win a rat race, you're still a rat. Okay, just like the guest said regarding overpaid footballers. I would love to have your book, sir. That's that. Okay, but I would say that Tokba is now the newest author in town. With everything he's been saying on the show, he's been able to put that in a book, and I must say it's quite a good book. I've started reading it. You gave it to me how many days ago? It's a Bible, isn't it? Okay, so I think, okay, lastly, this coming from Kings is saying, Nancy, I'm enjoying your show big time. Okay, thumbs up to your guest, Tokba Fashola. Please invite him more on the show to enlighten Nigerians, as we are all blindfolded by our corrupt leaders. That's the much we can take.
I think you should invite that guy that just said you should invite me more. But I think I've tried my best in this thing coming here so frequently. But we need more people to come and give perspective. And we need courage. I forgot to mention, C stand, the number one that C stands for is courage. You're not going to make an omelette without breaking eggs. We need to be courageous as a people and not be cowed. Yeah, take a stand and say this is what we want.
All right, thank you very much. If I leave you, you go on and on.
Yes.
I've been speaking with Tokba Fashola, the CEO at Global Analytics. Is also an author as well as an economist. Thank you for joining us again today. Please join us again tomorrow for another edition of the program. I am Nancy Lo, and AIT Reports is straight ahead. Stay tuned.